Hello everyone, my name is Pegah Gol. I'm a best-selling author of this book called The Formula. I'm also a serial entrepreneur and career expert. I'm very happy to be part of this Voice of Future, and I hope that all of us, we can amplify this platform together.
We're very honored and privileged to have Pegah Gol, who is with us today. Pegah is a very unique personality, and she's a kaleidoscope of personalities, and she does all sorts of things in terms of she's an author, she's a coach, she's an entrepreneur, she helps people build their lives in terms of their careers. But the center of all of that is the human, the person, the individual, and she helps them really to empower them for the future, and therefore she is one of our unique voices of the future. Pegah, welcome. I hope I did justice to the introduction.
Oh, you did the perfect one. I need to record that and later use it for myself. So thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
As I said, Pegah, it's so wonderful to have you, and you wear so many hats, and you are actually a little bit like me when people sort of ask me, what do you do? And then I say, boom, and they get immediately confused.
Yes.
What's your passion? What's that central thing that is the spark that ignites you every day?
Okay, that's a very good question, because for me, let me a little bit go back and explain that I was a very shy child, literally very shy, and but I always read books, especially the personal development books. I even started to read books before I go to school. So this much I have a passion for knowledge, okay, and the curious mind. But what really changed me, it was the moment that I started to listen to some of these motivational talks, people like Les Brown, I started to feel that something is touching me. And that was something that I felt like, whatever I do in future, I want to have that sort of touch. I don't care if I'm talking with someone in the street, or even if someone is my, mentee, or someone is my coachee, or someone is my superior, whatever. I want, whenever my presence is there, I touch someone in a very positive way and motivate them to do something or ignite something in their heart. So that's my passion.
I actually can totally resonate with that, because I have a massive transformative purpose. I did a tombstone exercise, what you will find on my tombstone. And my tombstone will read, Here lies Tariq, who was mad. Mad stands for make a difference. And he touched millions of lives and left something behind which is meaningful and goes beyond my life. So in other words, creating a legacy that goes on forever. It could be a platform, a movement, a university, anything that can be there to serve people longer term. That's my massive transformative purpose. So I totally resonate with that, making a difference in people's lives on a daily basis. Pegah, you have a very interesting background. Could you just tell us about where you come from, just to give a little bit of context about your life, and how you've been in Dubai, and how you see yourself develop into the future?
I can say I've been very fortunate to be to call Dubai my home for the past 16 years. I came here in 2007, and for someone like me who didn't know what's going on around the world and couldn't speak very well English, to be here and being a board member of 4 different organizations, and angel investors, and public speaker, and best-selling author, so all of it, I think it was because the spirit of Dubai. Honestly, the whole idea of why not, the whole idea of future, relations, and just thinking about the future, the futuristic kind of things about Dubai and the UAE in general, it just makes you cannot fail, if you really have the willing to win, Dubai is the place for you. And I'm very fortunate to do that. And honestly, I work hard. I worked 14 hours a day. I did lots of, I invest in myself a lot, maybe more, almost $1 million I invest in myself during these years. But that's what you do, and the best investment that you can do is investing in yourself to develop your skills, understanding, going with the future, going with the innovative ideas, and being curious. And so that's how I see now the result in the blooming result of me. I'm still like enjoying the path. Is not that I reach to the peak of it. I know that still there are a lot to develop, there are a lot to reach, and there are much more higher purposes that I can serve. But whatever I achieved till now, it just makes me so proud of myself.
And you have every right to be proud, because I've seen your career and I've seen some of your achievements, and they are amazing.
Thank you.
Originally, you come from Iran,
Yes.
right? So when you compare leaving Iran and coming here, what sort of learnings do you have from home? And what sort of value systems that you bring from there and apply and put it together with your life today?
Yes, I think this is a kind of conversation that I have with my Middle Eastern friends in general, because we grew up in uncertainty. I don't think that maybe there's some like exceptions, but most of us in Middle East, we are somehow like being involved in certain situation that we are uncertain in our life, and that's actually give us very, very good talent to how to live and how to navigate through the uncertain situation.
Makes you resilient and strong.
Absolutely, yes. My resilience has really come from that, and because of that, I know that when the COVID happened, I remember I was like sitting with my friends, and none of them are working, by the way. I'm the only entrepreneur. I'm the only one who's like, self-reliant, and they were talking about what is going to happen and all of these things. And it was just heated. We didn't have like some sort of any idea what is going to happen. And suddenly I started to panicking. I felt like, what am I going to do? Believe it or not, it took me one day to make a decision. And suddenly I went online. I started to put everything. I started to change everything immediately. Like that sort of things. I know that some people, even till the end of COVID, they couldn't even, manage to navigate through that. But for me, it took me a day to just make a decision. I have to go online. I have to do this. I have to do that. So I changed everything, and I went with the innovations, with the technology, and 2020 actually was the best year of my life till now.
Interesting. The word that became really big and popular during COVID was the word pivot. And what a moment, and you pivot.
Absolutely.
And how fast you pivot, or you pivoted, that's what really made a difference. And same thing for me. I had to pivot literally almost overnight also. And we did, because a lot of my business was in front of people, winning hearts and minds, and in events and in presentations and a lot of direct coaching.
Yeah.
So all of that suddenly changed, and I literally had to read. So I totally relate to that. You are a famous and prize-winning author.
Yes.
Tell us about the formula, tell us about your book, and what is that, and what made you that prize-winning author?
Thank you. This book actually is so dear to me, and there are many reasons behind it. First of all, as I said, when I was a child, lots of books has changed my life, especially self-help books from like Brian Tracy, from like all the big names that, they are really writing the transformative books, and they transform my life. Honestly, things I learned from those books are much better than, anything else I learned in my life. And I always had this vision that I'm going to write a book one day. If I have some expertise to share, I want to do that, because I felt like if someone has done it to me, if someone else like me, some part of the world, which they don't have access to many things, it's quite isolated country, my country back then, and the internet wasn't there. So book was the only way that books then can take you anywhere without moving, and makes you meet anyone without even they are being alive even, you know what I mean? So that was something that I always had it in mind. So, but what happened, I And when I came to Dubai and I was looking for a job, because of not having some sort of expertise of how to find a job, and I started to ask people, no one even has that expertise either. They couldn't help me. And I'm talking about 2007, you know. So now maybe things has changed. But even back then, like LinkedIn wasn't like there to help. So what I did, back then, it took me 8 months to find my first job. And it was such a difficult moment for me, which I think I promise without me knowing that I'm going to help anyone else in that kind of situation, you know. I do remember that. Now I remember it. Back then, I don't even remember when did I do that. So, and then somehow universe put me in recruitment, you know, executive search firm, headhunting, you know, being external recruiter. And I started to learn all of the in and out of the recruitment, you know. So the pain of the talents and candidates looking for a job. And believe it or not, the pain on the other side is very much equal. The pain of the companies to find hiring the right talent for themselves. So what I did, I thought, you know what, the best thing for me to do after 7-8 years working doing executive search and recruitment for like non-stop 14 hours a day and helping thousands of people to find a job, let me do a book so I can actually, you know, change many more lives. Things are not, people are not aware of it. And somehow during the publishing my book, I actually lost my mom. I went through the divorce. It was such a difficult moment for me, but this book gave me the hope, because I thought this is my legacy, so I have to, you know, finish it. So it was something I can anchor to, and I can go forward with it, and with all of those, you know, things that makes you, anyways, you can go through the deep depression, you know. But this one actually was, that's why it's very much dear to me, this book. And then I published it in February 2020. Just before the pandemic.
Wow, okay.
Yes, and I got lots of, you know, talks and gigs and everything, you know, public speaking. Some of them paid and some of them campaigned for my book, and all of them just got cancelled one by one. Like, I was like, and that was the day that I sat with my friend, and I also started to panicking because I felt like, what can I do? And I was like, that was a wrong time. But little I was aware that was the right time. Why? Because during the COVID, lots of people lost their jobs.
Right.
And when I actually went online and I told people that I already published the book and it's about this, it hit #1 best-selling immediately the next day. And I think everyone asked me, what did you do? How did you achieve to that? I was like, I don't know. But since 2008, 2009, I started to calculating how many people I spoke to or I met. Because I was a recruiter, we have very high KPI, 40 calls per day, 2 candidates meeting per day, and 5 clients meeting per week. So I did the calculation. I think I met 12,000 people. You know, and those people, either I help them to find a job, or I help them with their CV, give them some tips or something. So they actually think that I have something to share here, and they also want to support. So that was the first one. I felt like, okay, that was the reason. But then the second time, the third time, the fourth time, and the 8th times, and I was like, okay, that's not a coincidence. Like, it's not only because they want to support me, it's not only because they're curious, because the book started to serve its purpose and started to, you know, people started referring to each other, you know, and the power of referrals is better than anything else.
100%.
And so that's how the book it served its purpose during 2020 and is still serving its purpose. That's why I'm so proud of it.
Thank you. I can see the pride sort of coming through your eyes and your body language and your emotions, and I love that, because I think that kind of human emotion of pride and something that fills you up is genuinely special. My little story, not as spectacular as yours, and I hope I can learn from yours. People call me voice of the future because the media and so on, and they all suggested that I should write a book called Voice of the Future. And it was very flattering, and I sort of fell for my own BS, like, oh yeah, I'm going to write a book called Voice of the Future. Started writing chapter 1 on chapter 2, and I've been doing this futurist work, as you know. I'm thinking to myself, this is not me. This is not who I am. I'm not narcissistic, self-absorbed. This is me, and I'm going to say tell the world the future. And I was in a lot of sort of introspection and reflection, and I came to the conclusion, and I came and just had one extra letter, and I made it Voices of the Future. And the moment I made it Voices, it just exploded.
Yes.
You're a voice. We're all relevant voices for the future, not just me. And I think that inclusion, that sense of connection,
Absolutely.
and that sense of collaboration, and what we're now doing is building a collective voice.
Absolutely.
And I want to amplify that, a collective consciousness. And I really want all of us to be thinking together in some way, and a sort of collective impact. You've done it with people looking for jobs. I'm going to hopefully do it in other ways. So the thesis, the genesis of what we're doing right now is connecting the dots from the present to the future.
Absolutely.
So my question to you now is, as you project yourself into the future, what are the 2 or 3 core messages that you want to give to the same people? Because 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you were looking for jobs. 10 years from now, really, are you looking for jobs? Or are you looking for passion and entrepreneurship? Because that whole thing is shifting, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes. No, I'm happy that you asked this question, because this is something that I always talk with experts these days, and also like with my coaches, because I always say, like, whatever I shared in this book, it may not be valid like 10 years from now, definitely, and I need to just change it and update it every bit, every now and then. And as you can see, also, like 50 years ago, we have like a CV printed in our hand with the cover letter on top of that. That also has changed, Now we got LinkedIn and everything. Although from 50 years ago till now, it was quite slow motion. Now it's very rapid. What I want to say to whoever wants to actually improve their career developments or looking for a new job is just really mix it with technology. Anything is happening. Like at the moment, myself, as I said, I'm investing in me a lot, more than anything else. Like I'd rather to, I don't know, like don't have a watch, but get some information about the whole new technology that is happening, because it is very important. And personally, I walk the talk, so I just have the training last month, and it was online, and it was happening in the US. So every night from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. every night in a row, I was studying. And like courses and different things about what is happening around the world, the new technology, how I can enhance my, my work, what I was offering, and everything like that. So I think that's very crucial for everyone else. Things are changing rapidly, and like last year we didn't even talk about AI and ChatGPT, and now I'm like investing in AI recruitment platform. Sure. And it's just like so much things are changing, and I know that AI will take over the recruitment industry massively. It will disrupt it very well, and I think it serves its purpose for everyone else.
Yeah. According to a lot of consultants and people who are forecasting the future, if you look at 2030, 60, 70, even up to 80% of the jobs that will exist then do not exist today.
No.
So that's the one issue.
Absolutely.
So how do we retrain? And that's scary for a lot of people. Secondly, a lot of old jobs are going to disappear. New jobs are going to start coming in. So that's challenge number 2. And the third one, which is very close to my heart, and I talk about it a lot, that technology, machine learning, AI, ChatGPT, generative AI, etc., is taking away so much of our current roles and jobs. Writing a job description, if you were in HR in the past, you write 10 job descriptions a week. Now you can do it in 10 minutes.
Yes.
So it has fundamentally changed.
Absolutely.
But anything that is digital and can be digital will be.
Yes.
But my thesis is anything that cannot be digital, love, harmony,
Absolutely.
compassion, intuition, spirit, heart, soul, judgment, ethics, trust, all of these things will be 100 times more valuable.
Yes.
So if you believe in those type of things, can you as an expert share with me, how do you tell people now that you don't really need to code, but you need to have ethics? You know that disconnect, and I'm finding that when I'm presenting to people, that I'm saying ethics is more important than just learning a skill. Having intuition, creativity, imagination, and depth and judgment is more
Yes.
important
Absolutely.
than getting a degree.
Absolutely.
So how do you
Yes.
mention people?
First of all, I'm going to just complete what you just mentioned about the jobs change and all. And I always say, like, no panic, because like the transition is, although happening fast, like we never had like social media influencer, as you said, 10 years ago. So there are some jobs illuminating, some jobs creating, and some mundane jobs are going to take away
Disappear.
from us. And what is good for us, although some people, they may say, yeah, but that's mundane job, is my job. But yes, now let's say if you have more time to yourself, more time to be creative, more time to be in touch with your soul, with yourself, and understand what we really want. You know, it's very interesting, Tarek. Like 80% of my coachees, they are in a job that they don't like it. And that's bad. That's actually sad. Imagine that 1/3 of your life, because like 8 hours a day, it's
Minimum.
1/3 of,
Yes,
yes,
it's
exactly.
probably half.
Yeah, let's say like 8 hours a day. It's 1/3 of your day. Let's not say your life, because like the first 20 years we didn't work, and the last 20 years maybe we don't. But in between, like 1/3 of our day is a minimum is working. And imagine that you're doing something you don't like. And imagine that now, because of the old technology changes and enhancement, you have the opportunity to do what you like to do, what you love to do, what you're enjoying to do. Now we got like entrepreneurs sitting by the beach and working and making money online. So why not you? You know, so why you're sticking to that mundane job and you want to do that because that's the only thing that you know you can. So it is started to really, I think, having a curious mind and thinking what I can do, it's really what I love to do, and started to going through that. It's very important. And now reaching to that ethics, I think there's certain things, as you said, the human element of like love, even poetry.
Poetry is amazing.
Although now ChatGPT can write a poem, but yeah, it may reach to that.
Yeah.
But imagine that it's something come from your heart, and how it's going to touch millions of people's heart. Like I checked ChatGPT. I'm very much like to be updated with the whole, you know, new technologies. And I was like, yeah, that has the like kind of rhythm. And it's when you read it, it's just so funny because you know that it's not coming from that. It may reach to that, by the way, to that point. But imagine that if it's coming from you. And now you're talking about ethics. Ethics is the currency. Your reputation is the currency. Doesn't matter 100 years ago, 500 years ago.
100% right.
This is something is always there.
Yeah.
And one more thing, you can actually do something unethical and you think that you win. This somehow in the process is always come back to you somehow. And that's I think that the whole spirit of the whole world and what we call it karma or whatever, it's there. It doesn't matter how technology is going to be. Like the human connection is always there. It doesn't matter how technology is going to be advanced, you know. So
absolutely. So let me take you back into your childhood. Knowing that the things that you know, things that you've learned, things that you experience, what is the advice that you would give to your 16-year-old self? So 16-year-old Pegah about to go through life. So let's assume you had a 16-year-old daughter. What's the advice that you give to yourself at that age, knowing what you now know,
Yeah, yeah.
and living all over again.
I know. Why I'm thinking, because you know what happened? Somehow my life has changed at the age of 15. I was very shy, very isolated, and very nerd during my childhood till age of 15. And then 16, I suddenly changed. I started to talk, express myself, and being more, out there. And that's why, like, I think that the 14 years old me and 16 years old me are even totally different people. So, but if I want to say something, I would say, do whatever you do right now. Just don't worry about anything, and you're doing well.
You know, you say this, and every parent that I come from, my 18-year-old niece is going to university tonight. My sister is a little bit chilled, but my brother-in-law, you have to do this degree, and this is how you're going to do it, and this is the job you're going to get. What I know, this is the nice thing to say, but our parents are not saying that to their kids. They're basically saying you have to get your A's and you have to get into the right university and you have to get these results. I still think that we are stuck in our past in terms of what we are expected to do, rather than the more pure things that you are now saying, which I agree with 100%. So the jury is out on that, and I always challenge parents on this one, is how you're going to do that. Okay, so now we've done the
To just add something, I was very fortunate to have a parents not judgmental at all.
Okay, that's
and
great.
not saying like you have to do this, you have to do that. I really admire them for the way that they raised us, and I know that most parents, they want, especially in Middle East, their children to be either doctor, engineer, lawyer, or disgrace of the family.
Yes, exactly. Trust me, I have been there. I have gone. I was pushed into doing accountancy, and I failed my accountancy exam.
Wow.
The only thing I ever failed it in my life, because I'm not a bean counter. I am not an accountant.
Nice.
But I had to do it. People of our background, we need to have that.
Yes, absolutely. No, but I never had this. And always, I go to exam, I never cheat as well. Because they taught me it doesn't matter what number you get, because the most important thing is you need to understand how much you learn. And that was like something that I felt like, this is amazing. I'm so fortunate to have a parents like that, you know. So
very, very, very blessed. So now that you've been to your 14-year-old self and 16-year-old self and reinvented yourself, let me project you to your 80th, maybe 85th birthday.
Okay.
And we all come to your 85th birthday to celebrate you and your life. What is the 85-year-old Pegah thinking about? What has she done? And she looks back into her life. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. First of all, I don't think that we do gather like this anymore in that age, like half a century from now.
You mean everybody's going to turn up in a hologram?
Yeah, most probably. Yes, most probably we have our own avatar or something like that, because I'm very much like hanging out with kids. I don't have kids, but I love kids, and I see that they're playing Roblox and all of these, and I can see that things are very much shifting, and 50 years it's a long time, So let's talk about that. If I'm that age, I will be like, most probably like that. Most probably I have a community around the world, like that they're my tribe or whatever, that I belong to them, they belong to, like, it's just the feeling of belonging, but all like an online level. And I'm thinking that, what a life. What a life I had. And honestly, I think I will be like very happy living that long life and touches lots of people's heart or transform them in some way, because I'm sure that I'm going to continue doing that.
That's amazing. Let me give you some good news.
Sure.
By the time you're 85, science, technology, and healthcare work that is being done, and there are people in Voices of the Future
Absolutely.
who are looking at longevity. By the time you will live to 85, you will live to 185.
Yes,
So
I'm looking at 40 years ahead.
Exactly. And you say, I am now at halftime.
Yes. So what next?
What's next? Exactly.
Yes.
So, I talk about longevity sometimes. In the past, like 10,000 years ago when marriage was created, you died at 28, so you got married at 18, had 3, 4, 5 kids, 4 of them died anyway,
Yeah.
and then you died at 28. Life is good.
Yes.
Then you became, life expectancy became 48, and then 68. Today is around 80.
Yeah.
Now, if that 80 becomes 160, and you're married at, let's say, 30, you're going to be married for 130 years to
Yeah.
the same person. It's a long time. so, so you have to literally manage will change. All sorts of things will start changing because of longevity.
Absolutely.
And I think these are some of the new things. That's going to be a challenge for us in, say, 10 years' time.
Absolutely.
When we talk about longevity, now my kids are going to live to 120. So what kind of career do you have when you live to 120?
Yeah.
I can keep chatting away, Pegah, and I think you have some amazing insights and so on. Just share with us for the audience, what's the voice that you want to project into the future? What is the thing, that core message that you want everybody to hear? Because millions will watch this particular interview. What is that moment that you would like to say, this is what all of us should be doing? And then we will amplify it.
Okay, sure. This is what I always tell to anyone, especially the youth and youngsters. And I always say, like, doesn't matter what you do, whatever you do, put your 100% on that and put your heart on it. And that's how you grow. Because when I started to working, the first job that I got, it was just a customer service and not in recruitment. Someone just saw me how passionate I am serving, and I'm enjoying the serving. So it's very much important to, whatever you do as a job, as a profession, as whatever, just make sure you put your heart on it, make sure you put your 100% on it. And as you keep your ethics, you will grow.
We always talk about young people when we talk about the future. Older people have a life too, 60, 70, 80. A friend of mine, his father is terminally ill right now. He's in his 90s. I think you and I need to also give a bit of attention to people in their 70s and 80s and who are feeling disoriented.
Yes.
Who have mental health issues, who are very confused with technology.
Yeah.
Gerontology, which is about old age and old age management, is becoming a really important thing, and how technology is going to help them. What are the sort of things that we should be doing looking after older people?
Honestly, I understand what you're saying, and it resonates with me a lot because my dad is 75, and bless him, he's actually very updated always. Like, I got this gene from my dad. He's always updated with technology, what's going on. He's been always nomad, moving here, there. He's been in every countries in the world in his life. So, and now he's like thinking, what next? What am I doing? And all this. And I really started to even show him some of the others, what they do at this age and how he can start to get himself busy about that. And honestly, I feel like I started to give some sparks, some hopes to him that he can actually, no, it's not that I'm not capable of doing anything. And technology just makes it so easy. You just need a Wi-Fi and a computer or smartphone, it doesn't matter. So that's something that I really feel that we need to start to maybe put some awareness about that, education about that, and educating some of maybe those children of the elderlies to how they can actually bring the hope back to them. So
I think the key word is hope.
Yes.
And your dad at 75 needs to be able to see the age 100.
Absolutely.
Your dad at 75 needs to feel that his mind and his brain is going to remain fresh and energized. I don't mind being old, but if my brain's slowing down, I don't want to be old
Yes.
because I'm so intellectually energetic. I really would hate for that part to slow down in my life.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things that are happening in terms of old age. So for youth, we give them a different message. For older people, we give them another message, and I think both of them come together. So connecting all the dots of your life, is there anything that you'd like to share that I may have missed or we may have missed in this conversation? You spoke about yourself as an author, as an entrepreneur, as a young person changing people's lives. You spoke about technology. We spoke about our parents.
Yes.
Anything else that you'd like to quickly mention?
I think the last thing is just to let people know everything is possible. Everything is possible. And I know it's a cliche, we always hear that, but why I always hear that from like people that they actually achieved? Because they achieved it and they want to share it. And I achieved a lot to my capacity.
Yeah.
And I feel that whatever I imagined in my life, it actually happened. It appeared in my life. So everything is possible. Don't limit yourself. Really, do not limit yourself. Everything is possible.
You know, the number of people I have done over 70, 80 of these interviews, and I always ask the question about happiness, about harmony, about inner peace, about, as we look into the future, what gives us that? What are your thoughts on that? And you know, how do you give yourself that inner peace and harmony?
I think it's very personal. It's not something that I can. You need to really, there is a meme on the internet that said like, "Where did you find that?" And someone got the happiness and said, "I created myself." It's something that I think all of us like. The joy, it's always been within us. And if you look at children,
Yes.
they have a joy because they just live in the moment. And doesn't matter how technology is going to advance. If I'm being a hologram, if I'm being an avatar, whatever, I have my soul. And that soul needs to be living in present moment. And that's the only substance, not the only way that you can actually enjoy the life. Be like a children and just learn from them. I love children. When I watch them, I'm like, wow, I love kids. Like, because I can learn a lot from them. That we are just like, if we are not happy, either we are living in the past, which is memory, or we are living in the fear of future, which is imagination.
Which is fear also.
Yes,
and worry.
Yes,
Yeah.
worry, exactly. And instead of living in the moment, in the present moment, and present, that's why it has a name. It's a gift. Just enjoy this gift and live your life in a happy way.
So that is your beautiful final message for the Voices of the Future.
Yes.
Pegah, you're an amazing voice.
Thank you so
and
much.
we hope to jointly amplify this voice. You're touching people's hearts. You're helping people, enabling people. Very proud to have you as a friend. Very proud to have you connected with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
very
Same
much.
here. Thank you so much.
It's a real
Thank you,
pleasure.
Tarek. Thank you.
Pleasure.